Looks like the hour has arrived. I'll call the meeting to order. Before we begin, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. In the nearest stairwell, if the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles. You received the minutes in your packet from last month's meeting. Is there any changes or corrections? If there are none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. We have a public hearing on the rezoning request for suburbanizing S zone to commercial C zone at 225 and 235 South Old Glory Road.
This rezoning request is for the property at 225 and 235 South Old Glory Road to be rezoned from S suburbanizing to C commercial. The property is identified on tax map 56, parcels 45 and 45.02. This property is located on South Old Glory Road near the intersection with Highway 321. This property abuts property that has been annexed into the city of Maryville, which they have zoned business transportation. The opposite side of the property is abutted by Mary Blount Elementary School. The section of South Old Glory Road that runs in front of these two properties is listed as a minor collector road according to the road plan for Maryville City. These properties are located approximately 620 to 860 feet from the intersection with Highway 321. These properties are located in an area that has existing commercially zoned and used properties. Currently 45.02 is listed as commercial on the tax card and parcel 45 is listed as residential. They both have road frontage on South Old Glory Road. And then I included a copy of the zoning map, and also with Marlene's help, I was able to get a aerial photo copied in your all's packets.
Is there anyone wishing to speak to the rezoning request of these two parcels of land? There being none, the public hearing is closed and the request is open for discussion by the commission. Anyone have any questions of Roger? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner McClellan.
Roger, is that where the Oasis lawn and garden, whatever it is, there used to be? Or?
Most recently, it was Sharp's Construction.
Okay. And it was John Deere at one time or something?
Yeah. Been a few years back.
I make a motion, send it to the commission with a recommendation for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? We have a motion to send it on to the county commission for their action with a recommendation for approval of the rezoning request. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. And thank you for the nice color aerial shot.
Yeah, I think
it really does help.
It does look
like that. Renewal of preliminary plat for Sparks Cabin sites off Christie Lane. Doug, you got that one?
I do. Yes, renewal of preliminary plat for Sparks Cabin sites off Christie Lane in Laurel Valley. This is for Tater Sparks, 5 new lots and 1 existing tract, which is the Lane property, to be served by a private easement. If you want to look at the plat real quick, I just want to refresh your memory. You'll see Christie Lane off to the left, then you have an easement, and the lots look to be really funny shaped. That's because of where the cabins that are existing are, and they've been divided that way. The property, the long S-shaped property off to the right side is common area. I know it's kind of hard to read on there. And the Lane property is actually at the end of that easement, and it's of long standing. I'll just give you the history. The preliminary plat was approved at the March 2010 meeting for 24 months. When it expired, it was renewed again for 12 months until March of 2013. Mr. Sparks has had some health issues and other things going on, and was not able to execute finishing the plat. I don't think there's a lot to do, but there's still a cabin that needs to be moved and so forth, and I think he still intends to get that done. So I think the extension of the preliminary plat is valid. I would like to read the outstanding items to be completed back into the record, if I can. Number 1, variance consideration to allow for the 5 Sparks lots and Lane property to be divided off the common driveway easement. And I'd like to remind you that that variance was granted in March of 2010. So if you renew the preliminary plat, that variance will go along with it. A copy of a maintenance agreement for the common driveway, shared septic system and common area maintenance responsibility, suitable arrangements for maintenance of the private water distribution system. Number 3, Property Owners Association documentation to be supplied to staff for review prior to final plat submission. This is inclusive of the maintenance responsibility for these lots for the internal Laurel Valley roads. And that is standard procedure for Laurel Valley. Number 4, a pre-construction meeting is required prior to any on-site work, an erosion control plan and any permits to staff, all instructions in the staff analysis for the construction of the common driveway and paving of the entrance. We've never had that meeting yet because of Mr. Sparks' health. Number 5, confirmation by Mr. Lane that he concurs with the division of the Sparks property and understands the limitation for additional lots off the common driveway easement. Mr. Lane confirmed that at the March 2010 meeting, and he reappeared at the 2012 meeting, and just wanted to remind us that the building needed to be moved out of the easement. Number 6, add access easement for common area below shared septic easement on the final plat, and specify in the plat that the common area may also be used for future wells. That is all of the outstanding items to be completed. I do want to mention one thing, and I said it twice, but I might have confused you. If you'll look at lot number 5, the cabin that you see there is actually not located there. The tornado actually moved it to the center of the easement, and somebody has moved it again, but it's not completely out of the easement. So that's one of the outstanding items he has to complete as well.
Okay. Any questions or comments of Commissioner McClung?
Did you say on that existing road bed you would there will be an easement for it? Or is that going to disappear?
I'm not sure what you mean.
The existing road bed are on the southerly boundary.
Yeah, we don't require any additional easement for that. That'll be up to the owner if he decides to. They may end up removing that.
Because it goes to some of his remaining land, I didn't know.
He has access from that lower road as a sister trail as well.
There are 2 places where you say he's requesting that extension until March of 2013. You mean 14?
Yes.
Okay. It's a typo in there twice. Okay.
Yes, Commissioner Curry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lot number 5 again, about the cabin.
The cabin on lot number 5, that's where it was located when it was constructed. The tornado that we had, I guess it was a tornado a couple years ago. After preliminary plat was approved in 2010, I would say around 2011, a tornado came up that mountain and moved the cabin to the center of the easement. It knocked it off its foundation and pushed it back about 12 or 15 feet. They since went and took a bulldozer or something and pushed it so you could drive past it so Mr. Lane could get to his house. but it's not back where it's supposed to be. And I don't know if they're going to tear it down or move it, but one of the conditions is that he move it out of the easement.
So that is one of the conditions?
It
for
still
them to
is,
put
yeah.
it back
We'll
on?
measure it, make sure it's out of the easement, because that easement, Mr. Lane in the back has rights to that easement.
Okay, thank you.
Is that correct, Glenn? Okay.
Do I have a motion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of signifying approval of the extension of the preliminary plat signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Yes. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries for approval of the extension with all the outstanding items to be completed. Big Springs Presbyterian Church.
Miscellaneous item number 1 starts on page 3. Big Springs Presbyterian Church, 2 lots off Meadow Road. 1 lot with road frontage and 1 lot served by a 25-foot easement. There is a variance request. It's basically a variance request to the septic approval for the lot, or health department approval of the lot, because lot number 2 is a cemetery. And that is the only use of the property. There's no room to put a parsonage or anything else on that lot. It's pretty full. Like I stated in here, the variance request would be to waive the health department evaluation requirements for lot number 2. You can see lot number 2 also has an easement on it that follows the road. It actually is on both sides and goes back through the parking lot just because of the flow of traffic, and that's a very narrow road to access the cemetery, so it kind of loops in and back out of the property. I just want to let you know that these kind of variances have been granted before. The outstanding items to be completed include the consideration of the variance request that I just stated. Number 2, placing a note on the plat concerning the limitation of use for lot 2. Number 3, completion of a lot line adjustment plats prior to recording this plat, and those are internal to staff. We can handle those. Have they been done, John? The lot line adjustments?
No, this would be subject to the lot line adjustments being executed.
That's number 3. Oh, I'm sorry, and there's one more. Number 4, signature plats and a $20 per lot platting fee. That's it.
Any questions or comments? Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second to approve the replatting of the 2 lots, subject to completion of the outstanding items
And with the variance.
and the variance, yes. The variance to be noted on the plat that it is reserved for use to a cemetery. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. David and Cheryl Cooper property off Charles Young Road, 3 lots with 2 with county road frontage.
Miscellaneous item number 2 on page 4. David and Cheryl Cooper property off Charles Young Road. There are 3 lots, 2 with county road frontage and 1 served by a 25-foot easement. There's a variance request to the minimum lot size, and I'll explain that. If you'll look at it'll be easier if we look at the plat, and I'd like to compliment Marlene too. I think the color map that we've added will help me explain this to you. If you look at the right, the plat from Accurate Surveyors, you see lot 1, 3, and 2. If you look to the left, there's essentially 2 lots. I know they're light, but the long lot actually has 2 homes on it. The one next door that has a little red circle, there's one lot, there's 1 home there. So there's 3 homes already on the property. What they intend to do is to move one of the structures on lot 1 to the back of the property and then create lot 2 around it. When they do that, which is actually an improvement to the situation, Lot 3, Lot 1 and 2 will be standard lots. They'll meet our minimum lot size. But Lot 3, even though it says 32,000 square feet, we have to deduct that area of the easement because that's considered a development hindrance. So the lot size falls down to about 23,000 square feet of usable area. That's where the variance comes in. Now, we could either make 3 lots that are all of almost equal size of usable space, or we could have 2 standard lots and 1 substandard lot. And this is just the way they've chose to do it at this time. It may come back later with no variances if they're able to purchase some land from a neighbor. But before they move forward, they want to see if they can get this variance. And I discussed it with Gary Ferguson at some length. He agrees that moving the structure to the back and on the big lot, on the lot 2, will free up lot number 3 for reserve area if he needs it a little bit more. Not a lot, but a little more, because he won't have 2 structures on it. And he said that lot 3 should work. Did you provide him with a soil map? Did you provide him with a high-intensity soil map for lot 3? I can't remember. Right. He said the geology looked pretty good, though, and there's already an existing structure there with an existing system, so he'll just be looking for reserve area on lot 3. Okay. But that would be what the variance is for. And I will just, I'll just read the items to be acted on. Consideration of variance request, subject to the Health Department approval of lot 2, and that would come afterwards. So if the Health Department could not approve lot 2 later, then he wouldn't sign the plat. Do you have anything to add to that, John?
Does everybody understand the scenario? Any questions or comments? Doug, there's 2, excuse me, Commissioner French.
I've just got a question. Do we normally do that? I mean, put the cart before the horse, should we?
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
Should Gary not go out and take a look at lot 2 and see that it's suitable for septic before we do anything? To me, that's putting the cart before the horse.
Well, in a sense, I agree with you, but in a sense, we allow the cart to go. He's asking for the variance if lot 2 and lot 3 will work for septic later, because if we ask him to go do that now, then he has to hire a soil scientist and he has to pay an evaluation fee from the health department, and he still might not get the variance. So he might go and pay for a survey. He might have $1,000 out of pocket, and then you guys turn the variance down. If you approve the variance, Glenn will then go do the survey work. Gary will let them know if they need additional soil information. Then they can go spend that money. It actually, and they're in a tight situation anyway. Oh, yes. Yeah, whenever we can help someone save the money of paying for a surveyor and soil information by answering a technical question first or granting the variance first, subject to those things checking out on the back end, you've done it that way repeatedly.
So the easiest of the 2 options is to have the 1 non-conforming lot versus the 3 similar lots, correct?
I don't really think it matters either way. I think 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Commissioner Kirby?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On lot 2 with 32,000 feet, after the right-of-way, is that the 32 after?
No, it's about 23,000 if you,
So it's cutting it down to 23?
yeah, I think I have it written in there.
Okay. In the past, have we got as low as 20,000 feet if Ferguson says it with perk and for the field?
Well, the main consideration here is that the house is already there. That house
Sure.
is not moving and the septic system's already there. He'll just check the existing system and see if there's still adequate reserve area. If it came back later significantly different, I will bring it back to the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Motion approved with all the consideration of the health department.
And the variance. Okay. We have a motion to approve the replat.
Nope, you're approving the variance on it.
Approving, okay. Just, oh yeah, we can't approve the plat until subject.
Plat before you
Yeah.
just got a concept plan.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second to approve the variance. Now, does it have to come back before us, before the plat?
Yes, it will, because it's 3 lots.
Yes.
Okay. So, Commissioner French, we will see it again before we approve the plat. All right, all those in favor of approving the variance signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Easter.
thank you. John, long range?
I have nothing other than to remind you of a couple of training opportunities that Marlene has put in your packet. I've kind of loaded up the front end of this year with a lot of training opportunities. That's just because they have become available. And I would, encourage you to look at those that you can attend them and get the certification and give us those certificates so we won't have to be scrambling at the end of the year. After the meeting, based on discussion at the last regular meeting last month, we will have a training opportunity down at room 433 immediately after the meeting. Just give me about 10 minutes to set up. That's it.
Okay, we have training afterwards. We are adjourned. Just a reminder, we have a called meeting April 4th at 5:30 to amend, or public hearing on the amendment of the major road plan. Should be a short meeting, I would expect. Room 433 for the training.